Yo, yeah, hello. I'm MikunoNaka or VidhuKant. The search engines. Everyone uses search engines, and as a programmer, I think they are very important because I cannot live without him. Because search engines actually do 99% of my work. Okay, so the most popular search engine is obviously Google. You have heard about it. Okay, so Google has a lot of issues. Google is the most popular search engine, but it actually tracks you and it's not open source. That's an issue. But then you have DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo doesn't track you. It's a privacy focused search engine and people really like it because it's good for privacy. But the results of DuckDuckGo aren't that good. Then we have Brave. Brave is actually, I think it got out of beta recently, but it was in beta. And yeah, Brave is pretty good, but somewhat slower. Then you have startpage.com. Startpage actually uses Google in the background, but it respects your privacy because your computer is not making the request. It's Startpage's server which is making the request to Google. All of these engines have their own disadvantages and advantages, and I really like Google, for example. I know most people are like, oh, use DuckDuckGo, it's great for privacy. But DuckDuckGo also has done some censorship recently, and Google has the best results, and it's pretty fast. And Brave is kind of new, so I don't rely on it that much, but I think it can get results from Google, which is pretty cool. Okay, so SearXNG is a meta search engine, and you can self-host it actually. It will get results from other search engines. You can enable different search engines, which is pretty cool. So you're not actually making the request to all of these search engines. searx is making them, so your web server is making the request, which is kind of cool. And the best thing about it that it's decentralized, and I love decentralized technology because you can self-host it. It's not like there is a central server like DuckDuckGo or Brave where you're making requests to a certain server. You can self-host it. So now you are making requests to your own server or a server that you trust. To host a SearXNG instance, you either need a VPS or a Raspberry Pi. With the Raspberry Pi, you have to set up static IPs and stuff. And I don't have a static IP. I live in a house with a dynamic IP. So I'm gonna use VPS, and I'm using Linode, and I'm using the basic server with 25 GB storage and 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU core, and that's actually enough for using searx. If you want more performance, or maybe you want to host more things, you can go for a more expensive and higher end plan, but I'm happy with the base plan. So this is not a new server. If you're deploying a new server, you will need to do some other configuration like setting up Nginx, and which we will be doing. We will be using Nginx actually, and you wanna need to set up the firewall and stuff. I'm not gonna do that because I have already set up my server and I'm too lazy. So my VPS is actually running Debian 11. You can use other distros like Ubuntu or RHEL and stuff, but I will be using Debian 11. So first thing, you open a terminal and SSH into your server, which is at VidhuKant.xyz. This is my website, please visit. So I'm gonna link to this documentation article on the searx website. Link is in the description. So this has the installation instructions. There are actually 3 ways you can do an installation. You can use the installation script, which I will be doing. You can use the Docker container, and you can do the step-by-step installation, which I've never do. So I'm gonna use the installation script, and obviously the link is in the description for this page. So what we have to do is clone this repo. So I'm gonna copy this and paste this on my SSH window. Okay, so I'm gonna cd into the SearXNG directory, and there are all these files. This is the GitHub repo for the SearXNG search engine, meta search engine. If you look right here, I'm not logged in as the root user. I have logged in as ZT, which is my username. Okay, so you actually shouldn't use root on your server for multiple reasons, but even if you decide to, for this installation script, you actually need to be logged in with another user, because this script actually requires read access to your home directory, and the home directory of the root user is /root, which couldn't be read by other users. So actually what I do is log in with another user. If we do who am I am logged in as ZT, which is a custom username. You can do whatever. Now you wanna do sudo -h utils searxng.sh install all. Okay, now you wanna enter the password. Okay, so this wants to install some dependencies. Actually, I'm gonna kill the script. First thing you wanna do is sudo app update and sudo app upgrade after that, because you wanna upgrade all the packages. It was already, my system was already up to date, yours might not be, so do this. Then we run the command again, and should packages be installed? Yes, let it run. Okay, they were actually already installed, so you can see here it's actually making a user. Okay, and ignore the messages. I don't think it's too important. It's just setting up some stuff. You can ignore this. Okay, so now it's saying should it install UWSGI, which I'm gonna answer with why or yes, because it actually said this before in the script, if you notice, but in a production environment you actually do need the UWSGI package, because it's a better server. For development you can use the default SearXNG server, but we're not gonna do that right now. The meta thing about SearXNG is that it will set up the reverse proxy and Redis and stuff, and Filtron and Morty. It will I don't think it needs Morty actually, so it will set up all these things. And by the way, I have no idea what Morty even is, but I used to use that with searx. So with SearXNG you do not need all this stuff, and it will automatically set this up for you. With searx you had to do some extra setup, that's why I'm using SearXNG. So we're gonna wait for this. Okay, it's saying do you run make tests. Actually I'm gonna say no, because it's the default option. Most of these things are for development and stuff, so if no is the default answer, you can say no, unless you know what you're doing and you wanna say yes. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's saying this installs SearXNG's UWSGI as app as Nginx site. Okay, I'm gonna use the default option. Do you want to run some checks? And I actually did no for this. Now we have successfully installed searx. Now that we have installed searx, we actually wanna set up a reverse proxy, and obviously we want a SSL certificate for our instance, because without the SSL certificate we won't get HTTPS. And getting an SSL certificate is free with Let's Encrypt, so I highly recommend using it because it is better. And for the reverse proxy I will not be using caddy, because I already have Nginx on my server, and the searx documentation actually uses caddy. So in the searx documentation it says we use caddy in our Docker image, but they also have installation for Nginx and Apache. I'm gonna use Nginx. So in our server we wanna install Nginx in Python 3 certbot Nginx, and these are the package names on Debian. I'm not sure what it's called on other distributions. On RHEL I think you wanna install certbot with pip, but on Debian 11 you wanna do this Nginx and Python 3 certbot Nginx. So you wanna run this if it's a new server. If you already have Apache or Nginx setup, you don't have to do this. I won't be going too deep into Nginx and stuff. So there are all these instructions on how to set up Nginx. You install it and do stuff. The link is in the description. And with Apache, you can see the documentation on the official SearXNG website. But what we are gonna be doing is following the Nginx guide. So if we cd into etc Nginx sites available, so if you look into the sites enabled directory, I already have some stuff right here because I have active websites on my Nginx server. We are gonna add a new virtual host, so I'm gonna do sudo vim searx. Hey, I got it working. Okay, so let's look at my Nginx virtual host for SearXNG, which is searx. Okay, so this is how your Nginx config should look like. Your virtual host should look like. So the default one on the searx.org website didn't really work. So I copied the virtual host from landchat.net actually. By the way, landchat.net is a really good website if you wanna learn about these things like self-hosting your stuff. I will leave a link in the description. So this is what your configuration file should look like. So listen 80 and listen IPv6 80. This is the basic stuff, and location slash you wanna do UWSGI pass, not proxy pass, to this socket. And this is some basics. This is the basic config. So if you look at it right here, our server name is search.vidhukant.xyz. And I completely forgot. I actually updated my DNS records before filming. So this is what your DNS record should look like. So the in my case, the A records point to my IP address, the server's IP address, and I have CNAME record search.vidhukant.xyz, which aliases to vidhukant.xyz, which points to my server. So you can do this. What you can do is add an A record. You can do whatever. I have search.vidhukant.xyz. You can put in whatever you want, obviously. So I'm gonna do SearXNG, and for the IP address it should be this TTL30. Okay, so you can do both of these things. So here I have search as the CNAME record, and if you have both your website, your main website, if any, and you have your searx server, your searx instance on the same server, you can do this CNAME record, because you can just point it to vidhukant.xyz or whatever your domain is. If you have another server with a different IP address, you will have to do an A record. So you're smart enough to do this. If you install searx, you're obviously smart enough to edit your DNS records. So this is what you should have to do. Okay, so if I in my Nginx virtual host, I'm actually also doing searxng.vidhukant.xyz. If we do this, then sudo systemctl reload nginx. If we do this, and search.vidhukant.xyz is actually working. HTTP is not working, but we will get it working later. If we do this, it says secure site not available, continue HTTP site, and it's working. Now that we have our searx instance working, we will need to enable HTTPS on it. So how to enable HTTPS? It's very easy. If you have certbot, if you have used certbot before, great, but I'm gonna show you an example. So what we have to do, sudo certbot -nginx -d search.vidhukant.xyz. I actually have 4 domain names, so I usually do -d to specify which one I want. So we're gonna run this command, and it says I actually have a certificate for search.vidhukant.xyz. I'm just gonna expand it with E. It's done. So now if we refresh this, you can see that's a log. So now actually before searching anything, we're gonna look at the configuration file for searx. So we're gonna cd /etc searxng, and there's the settings.yml, sudo settings.yml. If you look at this, it has use default settings. You can play around with the configuration file. I'm gonna edit some basic stuff like debug false, that's correct. Instance name, the default is SearXNG. I'm gonna do VidhuKant SearXNG instance. Okay, and Autocomplete is DuckDuckGo, that's fine. Safe search is 2. I'm gonna set it to 0. I think 2 means that it's strict safe search, 1 means it's moderate safe search, 0 is disabled. I'm gonna disable it because safe search counts as censorship, I guess. And it has image proxy true. I'm gonna keep it to true, it's fine. Redis is the caching stuff. I actually think I shouldn't run Redis on a 1 GB server, but I am. Okay, UI use static hash. These are some basic configuration. I don't know what use static hash does. So there are some enable plugins. You can enable and disable plugins if you comment this will be disabled. I'm gonna enable Vim like hotkeys and infinite scroll. Actually, I'm not gonna do it. It's fine. What I'm gonna do is play around with the search engines. So this is these are the search engines. There is some default config you can use. Actually, this is very important. Here it says name Google, use mobile UI true. Do not turn this off because Google can block SearXNG and searx instances. This is also in one way why SearXNG is better, because SearXNG can use the mobile user agent to search on Google, which is actually better, but because the mobile UI is actually not rate limited, while the default desktop one is actually rate limited. And name fguide, I'm also gonna enable the fguide search thing. So true, APK mirror, leave that. Okay, so you can enable and disable search engines like this. If you don't want to use Google at all on your search instance, you can just do disable true. Okay, I'm gonna disable false this. Now I'm actually also gonna disable quant. I don't know how to pronounce quant or something like this, QWANT, and disable true. I don't want quant because this search engine actually keeps up returning stuff in languages I don't even speak, so I don't like this. Okay, so this is some basic configuration. So now we can do sudo -h uwsgi restart, or what is it? Actually, I'm just gonna copy this and run this sudo -h service uwsgi restart SearXNG. Actually, first of all, let's open it in an incognito tab. So this is how it looks like by default. You can go to preferences and user interface, theme style dark. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Dark themes are better. Okay, now if we go to settings, let's just close this. We go to preferences, engines. Okay, so we can have Brave. Oh, Google is disabled actually by default, I think. Okay, so Brave, DuckDuckGo and Google. Let's enable Vibi. Okay, let's save this and let's search Google. Okay, that's cool. So it is pulling results from Google. It actually wasn't this morning. It never did actually, because I had the use mobile UI disabled. So that's why I explicitly say the use mobile UI option in the config file. This option needs to be true if you want to use Google on your server, on your searx instance. So that's kind of cool. I think it's pretty stable. So this is my SearXNG installation. By the way, you can go to space. If you don't have a server, you don't want to host your own instance, you can go to searx.space and see all the instances. And if we scroll down, let me search. Is mine there? Okay, I used to have my instance right here, but it was dead for some time, so I think it got removed from this website because it says 105 online instances. So mine might have been marked as offline. So you can find other instances right here, or you can host your own and ask these guys to add your instance to this website. Mine actually was here. I don't know where it went, but if you at home, if you're watching this video, by the time you're watching this video, it's probably back on searx.space. Okay, in the offline and error section, this says there are the engines that are actually not working because of an HTTP error or unknown host and SearXNG not found and stuff. So mine actually says HTTP server error. So it's erroring out, but I think I recently set up this instance because it was actually down for like 3-4 hours. So the bot actually marked it as offline and error and or error, I think. It should be up by next morning or something because the bot is constantly checking the search servers whether the server is working or not and what is the response time and stuff. So mine should get back to the online HTTPS stuff. Okay, so this has been a short video on how to set up SearXNG on Debian 11. You can use my own search instance, search.vidhukant.xyz. Okay, the search thing is working. No item found. Okay, it is working. It is getting results from Google and Vivi and Brave. So okay, I care a lot about Google. Google might not be a good company, but their search engine is actually really good. So my main goal for today was to make a video because I have been planning to start a YouTube channel for like 5 years now. Since I was 12, I'm turning 18 in a few months. So finally I've made some YouTube videos. I used to post before too, but I deleted them. And the second goal for me was to get Google working on my server, which it is, which is a nice thing. I love technology. Okay, so this is really cool. I really like technology and free and open source software because searx is free and open source software. With Google, you have two themes that you can use, and you have rate limiting. With searx, you can literally edit a config file and bam. If we go to Google, the title says Google, and this is VidhuKant search and change style. I did nothing. I edited a config file, and now I can look cool in front of my friends and stuff. So, this is really cool. Then this is why I like free and open source software. And yeah, bye bye.